Hi guys, we're back for another video. As you guys know, we're following the Na'ziyah Harris case. I found a video where her aunt testified in court. She gave some intricate details. She found out that there was conversation and or pictures exchanged between Jarvis Butts, which was her children's father, which she had fired by Jarvis. And she also testified that there were text messages between um, Na'ziyah and Jarvis Butts as well. So what we're getting ready to watch is the testimony um, in court with Shannon Harris, which is Na'ziyah's aunt, who had the children from um, Jarvis. Okay, so I want you guys to pay very close attention to what's being said. All right, so I know we're following this case, so let's go ahead and get into that's what this video is going to be about. I have my trigger warning banner up this time so that you guys anyone that's triggered with this video, hopefully you will not be. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this video. Everything said in the video is alleged and in my opinion and is used for fair use and entertainment. Okay, shout out to Justice is a Process. All right, so we're going to watch. Give me a second. I've been looking for this damn video all day and I found a great copy. So we're going to watch her testimony. Because, child, I learned a lot in this video. All right, let's get it on.
Raise your right hand.
Did you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Watch your step, please. Have a seat.
You want to speak into this mic, you can also pick it up and hold it in your lap.
Whenever you're ready, Mr. Ripley.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
Shannon Harris,
And Ms. Harris, how old are you?
31.
And back on January, or in January 2024, where did you live?
But my mom resides with my mother,
With your mother? Okay, who's your mom?
Annette Harris,
And without telling me the exact address, what street did you live on?
Bedford.
And do you have any children?
Yes,
How many kids do you have?
5.
And do all your kids have the same dad?
Yes,
Who's their dad?
Jarvis Butts.
And do you see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom today?
Yes,
And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
green, blue, whatever. Green.
Green. Your Honor, would the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant in this case?
So reflected.
Thank you, Judge. And you said your mom's name is Annette. Do you have any sisters?
Yes, 2.
What are their names?
Kenyatta Harris and Marquita Harris.
Are they older, younger, or something else?
Oh, there. Marquita is a twin. She's my twin, same age.
And Kenyatta's older?
Yes,
Do you have any nieces or nephews?
yes,
Do you know someone named Na'ziyah Harris?
yes.
What's your relationship to her?
My relationship to her, she is my niece. I'm her aunt.
Okay. And whose daughter is she?
My older sister is Kenyatta Harris.
And did you have any nicknames for Na'ziyah?
Yes. We all called her Tudda.
And is that Tudda?
Yes.
And did Na'ziyah ever know Jarvis through you?
Yes.
And when did Na'ziyah and Jarvis first meet?
When she was little, like age 2.
And can you kind of describe the relationship between Na'ziyah and Jarvis?
Should be just the uncle and the niece relationship, no more than that.
How often would Jarvis be around, like at your house with you?
He will call or say, can he come see the kids? Or the kids will ask, can he see their dad? And he will come pull up either to my house where I used to live or at my mother's house.
Would Na'ziyah ever be around?
All the kids would be around.
To your knowledge, would Na'ziyah ever text Jarvis?
From my knowledge, no, unless I will have her to text.
But to your knowledge, you didn't know of any kind of separate outside relationship.
No,
Would there ever be times where, where did you know Jarvis Butts to work?
pardon?
Where did you know Jarvis Butts to work?
Where did I know him to work at?
Yes.
He worked at 2 different locations. The first location would be on East Warren, and the other location would be on Gratiot and Connor.
And what were those locations?
Those are the auto repair shop.
Would you ever know Na'ziyah to help Jarvis Butts at his shop?
Yes, he will call me and say, hey, if I can get our daughter and Na'ziyah to come and work up at the shop. And I would say, let me ask my mom first regarding Na'ziyah.
And which daughter of yours would that be?
That would be my oldest, Janiyah.
Would you ever know Na'ziyah to go to Jarvis's shop alone?
No,
Whose birthday is on or around September 26th?
that's my my 4th oldest birthday.
Do you recall a birthday party on September 26th of 2022?
Yes,
And was Jarvis there?
No.
Okay, and that would have been his son's birthday party?
yes,
Were there ever times that you would text Jarvis off of a text now number?
the only time I would text Jarvis off a text now number is if my phone is off. Other than that, no.
And do you recall the numbers that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes,
Okay. And does a 586-510-5161 sound familiar?
yes.
And what number is that?
That used to be my old number.
And is that number that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes,
And what about a 586-842-4504
that was the number before this number.
before the 510 number?
Correct,
Okay. And is that a number you would also text Jarvis from?
correct.
And what number did you have for Jarvis Butts?
The 313-585-8719.
And did you have any numbers for Na'ziyah?
It was a funny looking area code. The area code was a 231.
Okay. I want to show you some messages from People's Exhibit 16 and ask you some questions about them, okay?
Okay.
Aaron, may I approach?
Yes.
I'm going to direct you to messages on or about June 27th of 2023. Do you recall those messages? Did you send any of those messages to Jarvis Butts?
No,
Okay. And do you know, I believe there's a phone number here that's highlighted. Whose phone number do you know that to be?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay. And you don't recall ever sending any of those messages?
No.
Okay. And now I want to direct you to messages from June 28th of 2023, How about any of these? Did you send any of these to Jarvis Butts?
No.
What about any messages from July 2nd of 2023? Did you send any of those messages?
No.
What about messages from August 26th of 2023? Did you send any of those to Jarvis Butts?
I'm sorry, was there 26?
August 26th.
No. These aren't my messages.
Did Jarvis Butts ever tell you that Na'ziyah texted him to meet up on January 9th of 2024?
No.
Did you tell Jarvis Butts about not being able to locate Na'ziyah on January 9th of 2024?
Yes.
And tell me, how did you tell him that?
I called him. He didn't answer. I sent him a message asking him, have he seen Tuda any whereabouts? And I said no Tuda, and he responded back. Oh,
I
wow.
didn't hear what you said. The last part.
Last part I had, I texted him. Well, at first I called him. He didn't answer. The second time I sent him a message, still no Tuda. He replied back, oh, wow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And Aaron, may I approach?
Yes.
And just for record references, I'm showing her what's going to be proposed, People's Exhibit 48. Ms. Harris, those text messages that you just referenced, do you see those on this page?
Yes.
And so it's fair to say you stated to Mr. Butts, well, first of all, whose phone number is this at the top?
The phone number is my old telephone number.
Okay, and who is the phone number below that?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay. And is this, I guess, do these fairly and accurately represent these two messages? 3, 4, 5.
Sorry for the ad, guys. Let's get past this ad.
6 messages sent between you and Mr. Butts on January 9th, 2024 through January 11th, 2024.
The first page is, yes, it's correct. Second page is correct. Yes.
And so on January 9th, like you had indicated before, you had stated that you told him that there was still no Tada.
Correct.
Okay. And you said he responded, oh, wow.
Correct.
Okay. And on January 11th, was Na'ziyah still missing?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
At this point, I just asked that if she's going to read from the text message, just meet the exhibit.
I
You have an
can.
issue with moving to admit?
No, Judge.
Okay.
These fairly and accurately represent text messages between you and your phone to Jarvis and his phone between, well, they start back earlier. Some from December 3rd, 2023 through January 21st of 2024. These fairly and accurately represent text messages between
Yes.
you and your phone to Mr. Butts and his phone.
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 48. Objection.
Okay, they'll be admitted.
Thank you, Judge. So on January 11th, did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
Yes.
And what is it that you asked him to do?
I asked him, can he share the missing flyer on his Facebook page?
Okay. And did you send him a copy of that missing flyer?
Yes.
Okay. And to backtrack just a little bit, on December 3rd, 2023, do you recall sending messages asking Mr. Butts if he needed Na'ziyah for anything?
Yes, I do remember.
Okay.
Mhm.
So do you remember this text on the first page of People's Exhibit 48?
Yes, I do remember this message.
Okay. And did you send that message?
Yes.
Okay. And what did the message say?
Tada said, do you still need her too?
Okay. And do you know what is that referring to?
It was, Tada had asked me to contact Jarvis and see if he still needed them to clean up.
Okay. And that would be to clean up his shop?
Yes.
Okay. And to fast forward, on January 21st of 2024, you sent some messages to Mr. Butts. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And can you read these last 3 messages?
These last 3 messages is, to be honest, these messages I seen into the inbox to you. I really don't know what to believe anymore. Stay away, Ramon. I mean it. The next message is, I don't know what to say, or Tada is on. Says, this shit doesn't sit right with me. Call it what you want. I'm good, period. It says, this for life. Nigga, I thought about it, and you can pass it. And don't call me, no need to explain shit. I already see it.
Okay. So you were referencing some messages that you saw in Tada's inbox.
Correct.
Tell me, how did you see some messages? Well, first of all, where these messages, where were they at?
The day of Officer Gardner came to pick up Na'ziyah's tablet. My mom asked me to put it on the charger. I put it on the charger. Officer Gardner, after that, Officer Gardner called and said she's on her way.
You're saying, without saying what.
Okay, I'm sorry. The officer had called and said that they was on their way to come
Still
pick up
hearsay.
the tablet.
Okay,
Okay. So
sustain as far as hearsay.
yes, thank you, Judge. Okay, continue.
So before the tablet was picked up, I looked inside Tilla's tablet. She has 2 passwords that I normally know. So one of them is referenced for her brother's birthday, and the other one is referenced from my password. So I put the first password in, it didn't work. So I put the second password in. So the first thing I went to was Instagram, which I was scrolling. And I seen Jarvis Butt's Instagram page. I clicked on his page and I seen 2 messages.
Okay. And what were the messages that you saw? Who were they between, first of all?
Na'ziyah, my niece, and Jarvis.
Okay. And what were the messages that you seen?
It was roughly 2 messages that I have seen that I can recall. States,
I'm gonna object to this as hearsay. They have not been admitted, and the messages themselves would be the evidence.
Were they of any, were the messages of a sexual nature?
no,
Okay. And you said you saw 2 messages.
yes.
Okay. Did you see anything else?
It was two sent pictures, but you can't really make anything out. There wasn't nothing there, but it was the picture was sent.
Okay. What did seeing those messages, what did they cause you to do?
Well, when I see no messages, I called him
Who's
and Jarvis Butts.
Okay.
Called him while he was at work, asked him, what is these messages I seen between you and my niece? And he said, what messages? Said it's 2 particular messages that states out and there's a picture. And he stated that, I don't know, these messages, I told him what the messages were, and he said it was probably our children was messaging him. And I stated no, because I know how our children will text.
Okay. And reading those messages, is that what caused you to text
Mr. Butts, yes,
Mr. Butts, in that you've seen the messages in the inbox and you don't really know what to believe anymore?
correct.
One second, Rich. So, Shannon, I want to take you back to January 9th. Were you home that day?
Yes,
Okay. And did you see Na'ziyah that day?
my senior that morning, correct.
Okay. And do you remember what she was wearing at all?
Her coat and her uniform at the time, she had on some blue jeans. I don't really recall the outfit. I just know the coat she had on.
And what was the coat that she had on?
She had on, it was a 90s coat with all the characters on it.
Okay. And you recall seeing her wearing that the morning of January 9th?
Correct.
And your Honor, may I approach people's already exhibit 2?
Yes.
I'm going to show you people's exhibit 2. Can you tell me, do you recognize a coat in this photo?
Yes,
And whose coat do you recognize that to be?
Na'ziyah's.
Okay. Now, after you were when you saw Na'ziyah that morning, what did you do the rest of the morning?
Nothing, I was at home with my mom and my 2 children.
And do you ever leave the house at any point that day?
No, I was at the house the whole entire day.
And do you know what time Na'ziyah would normally get home from school?
On certain days, she will stay for after school, and then on certain days she will come home. The days she will stay for after school is 6, and the days that she don't is at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And on January 9th, do you know if Na'ziyah had the after-school program?
Yes. At that time, my mom took her out of the after-school program, so she will come home directly at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And were you home at 3 o'clock?
Yes.
And did you see Na'ziyah come home?
No.
Okay. And did you see her come home at all the rest of the night?
No.
Did you leave at any point after 3 o'clock?
No.
Did you, when Na'ziyah didn't come home, did that cause you to experience or feel any type of way?
It did. When she didn't come home is when my mom went to go pick up the other 2 children from the after-school program. They knocked on the door and they had asked a question and said,
Objection. Sounds like hearsay. What is it?
You have a response or?
A question is a hearsay technically.
I think she said she said.
It's just a question.
I'm
Yes.
just getting ready to say a question. Okay,
What was
finish
the
what you're
question?
saying.
What was the question?
The two children had asked me, mom said, did
That's the hearsay.
Na'ziyah come home?
The hearsay is mom said.
Okay, so were you asked directly whether Na'ziyah came home?
So my mom was still in the car, I was inside the house. They was coming to the house, walking up to the door. When I opened the door, they asked me, mom said, did Na'ziyah come home? I said, no,
And was Na'ziyah home at all?
no.
Okay. And did you do any sort of looking for Na'ziyah that night?
Yes.
What did you do?
I called my twin sister. I called some of her friends that I know that stays close by. If they had seen Na'ziyah, heard from Na'ziyah and everything. And when I reached out to my sister, she said no. Her friend said no. So after that, I asked my mom, did she want me to call police? She said no, she will take it up in the morning.
Okay. Just one second. Shannon, did you know Na'ziyah to have a pair of red and black Nike shoes?
Yes.
And if I showed you a picture of them, would you be able to identify them?
Yes.
Turner, may I approach?
Yes.
And for the record, this is going to be from People's Proposed Exhibit 14, and it'll be picture 34. Do you recognize these shoes?
Yes, that's a pair of shoes that my mom bought for to the birthday.
Thank you. Now, back on the 9th, you said your mom was going to file a police report in the morning.
Correct.
Okay. Did you go with her to file a police report in the morning?
No, it was my older sister.
Okay. Did you do anything on the 10th as it relates to trying to find Na'ziyah?
Yes. We went out. I and some others went out to go get some pictures, made copies. We went to other stores, passed out flyers, and everything that we need to do. Now, what was asked of us to do.
And since January 9th, 2024, have you seen Na'ziyah?
No.
Have you, since January 9th, 2024, have you heard from Na'ziyah?
No.
Nothing further at this time, Judge. Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Harris, I also have some questions for you. You and Mr. Butts have been, or you've known him for about 12 years?
Correct.
And fair to say that you were in a dating relationship with him for most of that time?
Correct.
But towards the end, like last year, it was more off and on, fair to say,
No, it was on and off for years.
for years, okay. But you have 5 children with him?
Correct.
And this relationship that you had with him, even towards the end when it was on, it was a sexual relationship, right?
Correct.
Sometimes you go to a motel to have sex with him,
Correct. Yes.
and that motel was the Park Crest Inn.
Or the SharePoint,
There was more than one,
multiples, yes.
but one of them was the Park Crest. Said yes.
Correct.
And it's that's in Harper Woods,
Correct.
on Harper?
Correct.
Do you know if Mr. Butts, or do you suspect that Mr. Butts has taken other women to those motels also?
Correct.
You do?
Mm,
I believe you said that you have, of your 5 children with him, 2 are girls
yes.
and 3 are boys.
Correct.
And in January of this time, well, January 2023, you were living with your mother on Bedford, correct?
Correct.
Prior to that, were you living in Clinton Township?
Correct.
When did you leave the Clinton Township home and move to the Bedford home?
October 23.
And so there were times when you were in Clinton Township that Mr. Butts would travel out there to see the kids.
Correct.
And then when you moved to the Bedford address, he would go to the Bedford address to see the kids.
Correct.
And then the Bedford address is when Na'ziyah was also living there, correct?
Correct.
And I believe you just testified that on January the 9th, you were living at that house in
Correct.
Bedford, and you were there during the day.
Correct.
And so were you one of the first people that realized that Na'ziyah did not come home when she was expected to be home?
Well, I didn't realize it until I had got a question by the other kids had asked did I have Na'ziyah came home yet or have I seen her? And I said no.
Do you remember what time that was in the afternoon?
That was in the evening. My mom picked them up 6 o'clock.
So that was about 3 hours later than she normally should have been home.
Correct.
Was that surprising?
Yes, it was. One, we thought that she was at the after school program, but it didn't dawn on no one until my mom came back to the house and she wasn't here or she wasn't in the car when they had got in the car.
And so when you all realized that she wasn't at school and she wasn't at home, was that surprising?
Yes.
But you didn't go to police that night.
No.
She ever not returned home previously?
No, this is her first time ever doing this.
Did she have friends in the neighborhood that she would go visit?
Yes.
And you said, are those the folks that you contacted to ask?
Yes.
You were just shown a pair of red and black Nike shoes, right?
Correct.
And you identified those shoes as being Na'ziyah's shoe. Is that correct?
Correct.
It's a shoe that looks like the shoe that Na'ziyah is wearing, correct?
Correct. Correct.
You can't say for sure that that
Yes,
exact
sir.
shoe came from Na'ziyah, is that fair to say?
Correct.
And I think you testified that very rarely would you ever use text now to contact Mr. Butts.
Right.
Only if your phone was turned off.
Right.
And that was not very often.
Right.
Would Na'ziyah ever have access to your phone to use it?
Yes, like she would ask, hey, TT, can I see your phone? Sure, I wouldn't mind. Yes.
And so would she text from that phone?
Probably, yes.
Did you ever notice any text from
No.
her on your phone?
No.
Did you ever notice if she had used your Text Now app?
No, the only time when I would notice something and say if me and Jarvis would we won't be on the same page seeing eye to eye, and I will call him and he said why you will call me or like why you continue to keep calling me, and I would say I haven't called you all day or in 2 days. Then I will go ask my kids like, hey, are y'all calling your dad because I haven't called him.
And until you looked in Na'ziyah's Instagram account, did you ever notice anything on your phone that caused you to be concerned
No.
between Na'ziyah and Mr. Butts?
No.
And Mr. Butts, we said would come to the house to see his kids.
Correct.
He would drop them off at the house sometimes. He would take them places.
Yes,
He would pick Janiyah up from there.
like he, depending on like if he will pick up the kids, if I need him to pick up the kids from the pickup or drop off spot, for school, he will do that, yeah.
And then take them either to Clinton Township when you lived there or to the Bedford Street address.
Correct.
Okay. But most times he wouldn't even come to the house, right?
He will come to the house, he will call me first before he will come.
Would he come into the house physically or would he sit in his truck outside?
50%. He will sit in the car and wait till the kids come outside, or he will knock on the door.
Would he be in the house for any length of time?
Only if I'm inside the house,
Like he was visiting with you?
yes.
So you never knew a time that Mr. Butts would have been alone in the house with Na'ziyah?
No.
You can't think of a time when he had been in the house and had gone down to the basement with her
No,
or any other room in the house alone?
no,
Would Mr. Butts have ever been at that house if another adult, like you or your mother, weren't there?
he will, what you said,
Would Mr. Butts ever be at the house if you or your mother weren't there?
no, it will be me or another person.
The idea that anything was going on between Mr. Butts and Na'ziyah is shocking to you, right?
Correct.
You had no idea.
No,
You never noticed anything between Na'ziyah and Mr. Butts that made you concerned?
no,
You never saw any inappropriate behavior?
not at all.
You didn't notice Mr. Butts paying any special attention to her?
No.
Certainly, if you had noticed that, that would have caused you concern.
Yeah, it would have raised a whole bunch of red flags.
Likely, you wouldn't have invited him into the house, correct?
Correct.
You found it hard to believe even that Mr. Butts would hurt Na'ziyah.
But I won't know, I don't know, what he will do if a person's back is up against the wall.
But the thought of that was hard for you, at least at one point, to believe, correct?
Correct.
Now, during the time that you and Mr. Butts were together, he had children with other women,
Correct.
pretty consistently with other women,
Correct.
more than one woman.
Correct.
Some of those women you actually knew about, correct?
Correct.
They lived kind of even in the same neighborhood on the east side.
Correct.
Did you suspect that there were women that you didn't know about?
Correct.
Even one that lived, or more than one that lived over on the west side?
Correct.
You believe he was going out there to see somebody around the end of 2023, January 2024?
Correct.
Before January the 9th, you had a conversation with Na'ziyah about a location on Outer Drive in Belfour,
Yes.
and that was surprising to you, right?
Correct.
That's on the east side of Detroit.
Yes.
Did you end up giving her directions on how to get to that location?
Yes.
Why did you give her directions?
I was just getting out the shower and just getting myself together. She asked me, she said, "Hey, Titi," she said, "where is Balfour and Honor Drive?" And I told her, I said, "You know exactly where Balfour and Honor Drive at." I said, "Honor Drive is right where the wine basket at." And I said, "You know where Balfour at?" And she was like, "I get Balfour and Bedford mixed up." So I said, "You already know Balfour is before Bedford." So she said, "Okay." She said, "Because we are in school and we are learning about our surroundings." So I said, "Okay." But that was the only two things that she had asked, was where was Outer Drive and Balfour at.
Does that location have any special significance to you?
No.
Do you know anybody at that location?
No, the only thing that I'm used to, I'm familiar with is just picking up Jarvis on Auto Drive in Belford. It's just on a corner.
On a corner,
Mm-hmm.
not at an address?
Not on the dress.
When was this conversation that you had about that location? Do you recall?
This was right before Na'ziyah went missing.
Like, how soon before? Weeks?
Maybe it was still like in that same week she went missing.
Mr. Butts didn't have his own vehicle, fair to say?
No, he didn't.
He generally used,
His female vehicles.
did you know Mr. Butts to park at one location and maybe walk to another to kind of try to remain undetected?
Pretty much, yes.
So would it be not out of the ordinary for you to have to pick him up at a random, or what seemed to be a random location to you?
Correct.
You lived with Na'ziyah for, you said from about October until January the 9th.
Correct.
So you spent a lot of time around her.
Yes.
You knew her mannerisms,
Yes.
her demeanor,
Yes.
her moods.
Yes.
Did anything strike you as out of the ordinary about how she was acting at any point in time in December or January before she disappeared?
No, Na'ziyah, nothing have changed her character, none of that. She was just the same old Na'ziyah. Nothing is different.
Na'ziyah has a brother, right?
Yes.
Is it an older brother?
Yes.
Now, he had run away in 2023, is that right?
Yes.
Objection relevant.
How was it relevant? If it's something that had bothered her or something that she was dealing with at the time, could cause a change in her demeanor.
Okay. Overruled.
So she did have a brother that ran away,
Correct.
and was that something that she struggled with?
She didn't like the fact that her brother was running away. Yes, she didn't like it.
Around the same time, around the time December, January, was her mother supposed to come visit, her biological mother?
Yes.
Did she end up coming to see Na'ziyah?
Yes.
She did. Did Na'ziyah seem to have some big emotions about that contact?
Yes.
It was complicated, fair to say?
Yes.
Did she talk to you about that?
All the time.
Did you notice anything? You said you didn't notice anything in a changing mood. So
No.
what about physically?
No.
I don't have anything else, thank you.
Redirect.
Did you go to the Park Crest Inn on January 9th, 2024? Mr.
No.
Fox?
No.
And fair to say, you knew of Mr. Butts having other female partners,
Yes.
okay? And even some that you didn't know about,
Correct.
okay? So would it be fair to say that you don't always know, or you didn't always know what Mr. Butts was doing?
No.
You couldn't account for his whereabouts every minute of the day?
No.
Did you know him to, one of those cars that he would use, did you know him to have a white Escalade type truck?
Correct. Yes.
And you were asked some questions about Outer Drive and Belford. Fair to say, from what I gathered, the only connection you have to that area is Jarvis Butts.
Correct.
Okay, so he's the only one you would associate with that area.
Correct.
And you knew Mr. Butts to have other children?
Correct.
Okay, and you knew him to have clearly gotten other women pregnant?
Correct.
And to your knowledge, were all those women adults?
To my knowledge, yes.
Did he, to you, ever hide getting another woman pregnant?
No.
Nothing further, Rich.
Okay, you are done testifying. Please watch your step. Next time.
What y'all think about it? I think she lied. I'm sorry. I think she lied. Okay. I really do. I wanted you guys to hear that testimony because there was a lot that was unpacked in that situation. I feel like I said, once she saw those messages with Jarvis, which is her baby daddy, I feel like it pissed her off to know that there was some type of interaction. I think she knew within her heart that something inappropriate was going on because she said that there were also pictures. She wouldn't get into what the pictures were because they asked her. She said, oh, it wasn't clear, but you knew it was something inappropriate. That's why you called to cuss him out. She called him and cussed him out and told him, don't even worry about it. This don't sit right with me, and don't worry about calling me no more. Don't bother me no more. But then she also testifies that she knew that he had other women. So she knew she was one of many women. He was seeing many women, and several women would turn their cars loose to him to drive because he didn't have really his own car. That white Escalade was from a woman that he was seeing, that Na'ziyah was seeing getting in and out of at his shop. Plus, she was allowing her oldest daughter, which was around the same age, I want to say, as Na'ziyah, or maybe a couple years older than Na'ziyah, to be picked up by Jarvis to go to his shop. So was he messing with his daughter as well as Na'ziyah is the question? Was he also messing with his own daughter as well? Because he did do something to another one of his daughters. This dude is sick as hell. And the fact that this boy came to you when you met him, when you first met him, he told you that he had been in jail 10 years for violating 2 kids. And you said it's okay if the justice system can give you a second chance. So can I? And you took this man and laid up and had children with him, but you never worked. I noticed she never said she went to no job. So she was always home at her mom's home. Prior to staying with her mom, she was staying, I want to say, by herself, but whatever happened with that, maybe she was on government assistance or whatever. Maybe she got put out and she came to live with her mom. But it's giving that she was home all the time. So if Jarvis was coming over there and sneaking in the house, coming into the basement, how did you get into the basement is my question. I want to see this house now. Now I'm going to search online because I'm nosy, and I want to see the layout of this house and find out how you get into the basement. Do you have to come in through the house, or do you have like a secret door outside to where you can come into the basement? Is this like an older house where you have like a door on the side where somebody can come, from the inside and maybe unlock it? Or like, how did he come in to the basement? Because he was seeing Na'ziyah at all times of the like early morning hours, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock. So this girl was up like very late. He would text her. There's text messages to prove it. I read it to you guys. 2:15, 2:18, 2:30, 3 o'clock. He would text her and say, hey, I want to see you now. Come in the basement and don't wear like any clothes, like no underclothes. Okay. Y'all heard the conversations from the two of them. So they were meeting a lot at the basement, and he was also having inappropriate relations with her at that shop. So my question is, with his daughter being picked up and Na'ziyah, was there like some type of trade-off of inappropriate behavior between Na'ziyah and also from his own daughter? Because I don't put it past him to mess with both of them probably at the same time. I feel like the other guy that worked at the shop was like a lookout guy as well as an employee there, because he was a criminal too. I just got finished looking at his preliminary hearing. He was on some type of probation or something. He had just served a long prison sentence and got out and started working with Jarvis. So he's known Jarvis for years. He's seen those girls, and he had testified to it on the stand, saying he saw those girls and Na'ziyah come in there several times, including his daughters. So was he like a lookout person while Jarvis was back in certain rooms at that shop with these girls? I feel like he might have known about it. I feel like him and Jarvis, since they're both criminals, I feel like he probably helped dispose of Na'ziyah as well. And something happened to where he had a probation violation. So him and Jarvis are locked up in the same jail. All right. Because when he came out to testify, he had on a jail uniform, same color as Jarvis, green. So we'll probably look at that tomorrow. What time is 8? It's kind of early. I'll probably pull that one for you guys tomorrow because I have it. So because his testimony is kind of telling as well. I feel like he might have been like a lookout person while they were there saying that they fixing cars. And anytime those girls would come there, because Na'ziyah was seen several times at the shop and in and out of that car. Even Jarvis's sister said when she came to get her car fixed, she saw Na'ziyah. She said she didn't know who she was, but she saw her getting in and out of that car on the day she came to bring her car to get fixed. And she also saw her in the store because she was behind her and recognized it was something about that jacket, because everybody was mentioning this girl's jacket. When they mentioned Na'ziyah, said, do you remember seeing her, what she had on? Everybody always went back to that jacket. Even that guy at the shop was like, it was something with her jacket. She had on such and such type of jacket. So I feel like he helped. I feel like he probably could have been a violator as well. I'm not sure. But I feel like it's something about that guy that worked with Jarvis at the shop, that the guy named King, his name is King, which he goes by. His name is Cordell. His government name is Cordell something. But I remember they called him, his nickname is King. I feel like he may have maybe helped violate the girls or touched inappropriately, or he was the lookout person and he knew what Jarvis was doing. And because he and Jarvis were friends for so many years, he knows Jarvis's history. He said that him and Jarvis talked about girls and his family and other interactions that he had with other girls. So he knew all of Jarvis's business. I feel like he probably helped get rid of Na'ziyah in order to help his friend Jarvis. I feel like that allegedly, and in my opinion, I feel like that happened. I feel that aunt is not being totally honest. I feel like she don't give a fuck in terms of what happened to Na'ziyah because she violated by being with her man. That's what I feel like. I feel that way because how the fuck do you have to ask your mama, do you want me to call the police? She still haven't come home. That shouldn't be a question you have to ask somebody. That says to me, you don't give a fuck if she's found or not. Like I saw these messages where she was talking to my baby daddy, my man, and I don't really, the urgency is just not there anymore now because I feel like the little sneaky bitch did some shit she shouldn't have done. That's the attitude I'm getting. That's the attitude I'm getting. That's your niece, your sister, your blood sister's daughter is not here. She's never, ever been late with the exception of being, staying after school. And the grandmother stopped her from going to after school activities. So it was understood she was supposed to come home. You're home all day. You didn't notice that she came in the door by 3:30. So the conversation should have been where you call mama and say, hey, mama, Na'ziyah is not here. I feel worried. I'm going to go ahead and call the police so that they can start looking for her. And I'm going to go ahead and call the school as well for a backup. And if they find her, then we're okay. But just so that we can have them looking just in case something's wrong, because I feel like she is missing because she's not here. And when the grandmother came back from picking up the other kids and you didn't see Na'ziyah, there was still no urgency. And there was no urgency with the grandmother because she was saying, nah, we'll call them tomorrow. And tomorrow they still didn't. It was 2 days that went by before Na'ziyah was reported to the school. The school reported this girl missing. Do y'all see how crazy this shit is? I said, oh my God. How irresponsible is this? I didn't see her cry not one time. When they showed her pictures of Na'ziyah's belongings, nothing triggered her to where she became emotional. This is your blood niece that you have helped raise since she was 2 years old, according to her, because Na'ziyah did not raise, Na'ziyah's mother was not in her life, and she was introduced to Jarvis at 2 years old, Na'ziyah was. This is very disturbing. Do I feel like this aunt should have some charges? I feel like her children should be taken away. CPS should take every one of her fucking kids. And I feel like they should be placed somewhere else because you knew he was a pedo prior and you allowed this man to pick up your daughter as well as Na'ziyah. You knew it was a possibility he could touch and or be appropriate with these kids because he was in prison for it before for 2 younger kids that he also violated. So you turned your kids loose and you turned your niece loose, who all of them said was fast. Every one of them was saying, all the sisters, all the girls, and then she is fast. They were saying Na'ziyah is fast. So since you know that, and you know Jarvis's reputation and his history, you guys allowed him multiple times to come into your home. You allowed him to pick up your daughter as well as Na'ziyah and take her unattended to a shop with 2 grown men. Why they couldn't clean up the shop? Why couldn't these 2 grown men clean up the shop? I feel like this aunt sacrificed her daughter as well as her niece. And I don't feel like she's being 100% honest, because in a way she's protecting Jarvis, because Jarvis may be giving her money on the side for the children, which would be 5. She has 5 children with him, and they're all back to back. She also knew about the women all over town that he was seeing. Several women, up to almost 10 women I saw in another video that Jarvis was seeing in addition to her. So she knew she wasn't the only one. She knew the type of person he was. And you were still meeting him at hotels. You didn't have no money to get your own place, but you had money to go sleep in hotels with him. Weird. I don't believe in my heart of hearts that this boy was able to sleep with Na'ziyah multiple times in that damn basement and nobody didn't hear no door creaking. At 2 o'clock in the morning, this sound, everybody should be sound asleep at 2 o'clock. It should be a certain silence in your house with nothing moving if everyone is asleep. So if someone is opening doors, if someone is having some type of intimate interaction somewhere, you're going to hear some heavy breathing. You might hear somebody moaning. You might hear door creaking where somebody opens door. I'm just thinking about worst case scenarios. Like you heard nothing. You didn't see anything off. She said she didn't recognize anything off with Na'ziyah. Her you know, nothing about her was different. She said, I didn't notice anything different about her. This girl was pregnant. She was around you pregnant, and you've had 5 children, and you did not see anything different about Na'ziyah? Is that not weird to you guys in the chat? You are a mother of 5. You didn't recognize anything different with Na'ziyah. They said unless they're impaired. She don't sound like she was impaired sitting up there. She just sounded like she didn't give a fuck. That's a difference. It's a difference between not giving a fuck and being impaired. This lady, I don't think, gave a fuck after she saw the messages. Now, you didn't give a hot damn about him seeing the other 10 women, but the fact that your niece was seeing this fool, it triggered and bothered you to the point to where you didn't give a damn about calling to find out where she was. You were glad that she was anywhere except in that house so she couldn't be around Jarvis. She didn't give a hot damn. She was like, good. The bitch ain't gonna be messing with my man no more. That's her attitude, because you'd have called the police. But the fact that you didn't recognize anything differently about this child prior to her disappearance. She done got up. She done walked. Like, how big is this house? That's why I said I want to get the floor plan of this house to find out where the fuck this basement. Well, we know the basement is below. But how do you get into the basement? Is it like some downstairs that you come into the house? You go down some stairs like most old houses? Can you get into this basement through a secret door outside? Now I got to do my homework, because they've been given addresses. I might have to go into some Facebook chats and speak to some family members and or people that know them and get some addresses. Now I'm about to get nosy, because y'all know me when I start digging, baby. I'm going to find out. I'm going to get the layout of this fucking house and find out how this damn basement is. And that's going to tell you everything you need to know about these people and how Jarvis was able to come into this house at 2 o'clock in the morning and everybody sleep like they done took some damn note, or like they done took some damn sleeping pills or something. Everybody on NyQuil? Is everybody on fucking NyQuil to where nobody don't hear no doors opening or doors slamming or somebody heavy breathing or what? I don't know. What were they sleeping on downstairs? Is there a bed? Was there a mattress on the floor? Like, y'all didn't hear no meat slapping? Like, what was going on? I don't know. This shit is weird. I am on the case. It says it's hard to believe that nobody heard anything. I'm telling you. I don't even sleep light in my house. I hear a pin drop. I promise you. I hear a pin. If my husband get up in the middle of the night or my son get up in the middle of the night to go use the bathroom, I hear that shit. I'm asleep, but I hear it. And he upstairs. He all the way upstairs, and I'm downstairs, and I can hear it. I can hear my dogs barking. I can hear if my dogs move, I can hear that shit because I don't sleep light. So everybody in the house knocked out. No children, nobody heard nothing. I find it hard to believe. Plus, she was using your phone to text Jarvis. She didn't have a phone. So was she texting him and deleting messages? She was texting and she said that Na'ziyah asked me several times, can I use your phone? She's like, sure. TT, can I use your phone? Sure, here you go. So she used your phone to text your man and you ain't know it. That's weird. But we're gonna find out what's the layout of this house. I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna try to talk to some people. I'm gonna look this shit up. I'm gonna look at some news coverage in this case and see, can we find an address? And I want to see the blueprint of this house and how it's set up. And how do you get into this basement? Do you have to come into the house to get into the basement, or can you retrieve entry to the basement from outside? If it's from outside, then Na'ziyah probably went and unlocked the door and probably texted him to say the door is unlocked, come in. If he came into the house and went downstairs, I'm gonna know something. That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna know something if he came in that damn house at 2 a.m. and everybody say they sleep and they ain't know it, and he went down some stairs, because you're gonna hear some stomping. You're gonna hear some stairs creaking. Come on now. I'm just saying, you're gonna hear some stairs creaking when you step on them stairs to go down in that basement. That's all I'm saying. Because that's where it was going down. But we're gonna continue, guys. We're gonna continue. I'm gonna continue to put a video. We're gonna stay on this case. As I told you, when the trial starts, we are gonna be on that as well. All right. I appreciate you all for being here. Did we want to have a panel? Did anybody want to give their interpretation of what they feel, or any comments or anything? Do y'all want me to drop the link? I'll be willing to do that if y'all want to talk. Says that I'm gonna hear the door opening out. Yes, Diego. Diego said he gonna hear the door opening out. Yeah, me too. I'm gonna hear the front door opening. I'm gonna probably hear the damn basement door opening if it's one of those type doors. Y'all know the ones you need to put some damn WD-40 up on that mug. Said you can hear car doors close. Yeah, 2 o'clock in the morning is silent. It's very quiet at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, baby, Colombo Caramel's on the damn job, baby. Caramel Colombo is on the job. I'm about to find out the layout of this house. That's going to tell you what. I done told you I'm watching no crime shows, baby. I'm about to crack this case. They don't need no damn detectives. I'm on this shit. I'm on this. I'm on this. How did Na'ziyah have all these intimate interactions with y'all in the house? Auntie, according to Auntie, I'm home. Auntie says she don't leave the house. She's there all day because she got 2 younger kids. So she home. She don't work. She don't work. So you home. So somebody done gained entry to that house and you ain't know they were there. I call bullshit, and we gonna find out. All right, somebody, let's look at some comments right quick, honey. Let's look at some comments. Jay Stone says, according to most zoning, that you have to be able to get into the basement from the outside. Okay. All right. So Snatch by Diego says it better be quiet at 2 a.m. in my house. Period. Okay. Says I don't sleep there so that I hear everything that they can call Paw Patrol in my. Okay. Period. Said the detective Caramel San Diego. Yes, baby, I'm on it. Babe, listen, I pay attention to detail. I pay attention to detail. When she's talking, in my mind, I'm revisiting this situation as she's talking, and I'm kind of putting it together. Like I can visually see this girl in this house and going down these stairs, and I'm trying to figure out how do you, because most old houses, like I said, they have like a door where you go down these stairs into this basement, and sometimes there's an outside door to where you can go outside from inside this basement or gain entry from the outside as well. If this is an old house, I'm guessing that it is, because looking at them, they look kind of thrifty. So I don't think they living in no upscale type shit where they got no basement like that. It's given that it's an old house. But I'm gonna find out. Because I've been kind of digging on some of their family's Facebook pages. I told y'all that shit. So we're gonna be nosy, and I'm gonna get over there and I'm gonna talk and just ask some questions and be on the job. I said, where in the world is Caramel San Diego? Baby, Caramel San Diego is on the damn job. Do you hear me? Go gadget receipts is what it's about to be in this bitch. Okay. Oh, I'm on it. But thank y'all for watching. I really wanted y'all to see this because we've been talking about this aunt, and I kept saying something in my spirit don't feel right about this aunt. I feel like she knows more. I feel like she's angry that a whole 13-year-old got more affection from her man than she did. Okay. That's what it gives. That's what it gives. For 12 years, you were with this damn man, and he gave more attention to everybody else except you. And I feel like, and I said this today when I was trying to get my commentary together, I feel like she was the breeder of his next victims. She was the breeder of his next victims. He didn't love her. If he loved her, why did you have 10 other women all over town? He did not love her. She was the breeder. I'm going to say it again. She and the rest of the women that he fooled with that had his children, they were the breeders of his next victims. I feel like once Na'ziyah got pregnant, he was done with her. There was nothing else he could do with her. That's why she's not here no more. He was on to the next victim, probably his own fucking daughter. Yeah. I feel like his own daughter was going to be his next victim after Na'ziyah, had they not caught his ass. Because he's got other daughters as well. And he was seeing other women as well. One of the women that he was seeing didn't have no kids. And I feel like she would have been knocked up real soon because he's very fertile. He got a bunch of kids, 13 to be exact. So he's meeting these women. And as sick as he is, he's hurrying up and making babies with these women back to back to back. And these girls are growing up as young. One of them is young as 4, I told you. One of them is young as 4, already was tested and found to have chlamydia. So that means that you were sexually active with a 4-year-old. You were already grooming a 4-year-old to please you at 4 years old. And all the women that you were sleeping with, obviously unprotected, because you were carrying from one woman to the next. And Na'ziyah probably had something as well. If they swabbed her when they find her body, well, probably not. If she's in water, probably not. But she probably has some type of STDs as well, because he was definitely carrying. He was carrying. I wouldn't doubt if they tested him right now, he probably has more than chlamydia. He probably has some other things, because he was not wearing protection and he was sleeping with way too many women. And he served time in prison, 10 years. He's a pretty boy. Put 2 and 2 together. Put 2 and 2 together. You spent 10 years in prison for being a pedo. What do they do to pedos in jail? They get R-worded. They don't have protection in jail. So do you not think that they did something to him? Do you not think that something was done to Jarvis the last time he was in prison? Because they just beat him up this last time. A few days ago, I just told you guys, he just got beat up because he was limping real bad when he came to court. He was limping real bad. They got to him already. Diego, I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that, Diego. Okay. But I do feel like he could have been violated the very first time that he spent those 10 years for violating those 2 young girls. And now that he's in there again, he's catching hell again. But I told you guys, his sister, the light-skinned lady who saw Na'ziyah getting in and out of that white Escalade, she was the one that was raising him as well as his other siblings. I don't know if something may have happened to their parent. Maybe they passed away. But the sister is who raised Jarvis. Something happened to Jarvis as a child that made him be a pedo. Something happened to him. He was touched or something by someone. I don't know if it was the aunt or the sister. I don't know who did it. But somebody did something inappropriate to him because he is fucking crazy. He is warped. And now he is the next generation of destroying the next generation of children. But I do feel like he's sleeping with all of these women so that he can have full access to his next victims. So they're breeding victims. They're breeding victims. And that aunt that testified on the court in courts on this video here, she definitely bred 5, 2 girls and 3 boys. And it was said some of the boys were also coming to the shop. Do I put it past him to violate boys? I do not. I do not. Because pedos don't care if you're male or female. Most of them don't. Pedos do not care if you are male or female. So bottom line, do I feel like he may have done something to his sons? Probably. Probably. And the 9-year-old that walked in on him messing with Na'ziyah twice. She saw them twice, where she walked in twice on Jarvis having sexual contact with Na'ziyah. I told you guys that today when we talked about it. Twice. And he tried another one of his daughters and she told him no. So that's it, and that's all on that. But I want to find out the layout of this house, because I want to know how he was able to get into this house to see Na'ziyah at all times of the morning. That's going to tell you everything that needs to be told, okay? Because if he had to come in that house, that aunt knew about it. That aunt knew about it. You're a mother of 2 small children, okay? She got young children that are not even in school yet. So there's no damn way that you sleep that late, okay? At some point in time at night, you got to go take them to the bathroom, especially if you're potty training. You're going to get up, take them to the bathroom. At some point, you're going to check on your kids. You sleep all through the night with 2 small, young kids. She got 2 small kids. I'm just thinking of scenarios. I'm a mom, so I'm thinking of all different types of ways. You know, your kids, you got to get up and check on your kids at some point. So we're gonna check. We're gonna check it out. I'm gonna do my little investigative work, child. I'm gonna hop back on. Try to hop back on Facebook, and I'm gonna try to go to some of these pages and try to see what I can find out and get some info on that, and talk to some people in the comments and try to see can I find an address. Okay. At least as close as I can. If I can't get the address, somebody who lives in that vicinity to where I can see something with this house. I'm gonna find out. Okay, I'm gonna find out. But we'll revisit this. We'll continue to look at videos. Again, once the trial start, we will cover it. And I will continue to pull videos of testimonies so that we can kind of help solve this case. We don't know where Na'ziyah is, but we damn sure going to help try to find her. All right. But thank y'all for being here tonight. I appreciate you all. Thank you to all my mods, Bill Wilson, KBR Tyra, and Scorpion Miss. Thank you to all the content creators that joined us in the chat tonight as well. Yes, somebody said 666. It is, but it's going to take a village. He's not speaking in terms of where she is. He knows where she is. He knows exactly where she is. And that's even more of a demonic spirit in him that's sitting back knowing that the family cannot have closure. I mean, the damage is done. They already know you did stuff. They already know that you were involved in her disappearance and her death. And not only you're going to be charged with her death, but you're going to also be charged with the child, the unborn child. That's two people gone. So let's get out of here, guys. Love you guys down. Yeah, I have no more. This is a deep subject. I hope I did not trigger anybody by this subject again. But thank y'all for watching. Okay, let's get out of here. Please share the video, like the video, and subscribe to this channel if you've not done so. Also, if you'd like to participate in our petition, you may do so as well. I'll post that in the chat. And that's all I have tonight, guys. Okay. Oop, paste. Boom. There you go. I love y'all and bye. Oh, let me get my music, honey. And bye. Let me play Rose favorite.